Tyler Shough's first NFL start came in Week 9 last year, and from Weeks 9 to 18 last season, Shough finished 4th in completion percentage, trailing only Brock Purdy, Josh Allen, and MVP runner-up Drake May. Shough wasn't throwing checkdowns either, right? His average throw went a half-yard longer than the league average in that span. Tim, are you buying what we saw from Shough at the end of last year will continue this season?
Listen, I'm buying that he's going to be a really good player, and look, that I think is going to be improvement year over year. But I'm not so sure he's going to be in the top 5 in that category. Those names on the list, and then you factor in, Dak Prescott with Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, some of the stuff down the field. I'm not sure that exact trend continues for him. I do think the speed at receiver, his arm strength, and then Kellen Moore's creativity and really desire to push the ball down the field. I do think that he'll be in the mix. I'm not sure he'll be top 5 in the league. The sample size is a little bit too small for me from his rookie year.
This whole episode of NFL Live has just been let's doubt every great thing or every just accomplishment in general. And Taysom Hill is not immune to that apparently either. I'm excited to unpack this one cause I told you guys before, like I'm trying to real hard to make way more New Orleans Saints content, and so every time they actually talk about the Saints, albeit even if it is just a 35-second clip, it's like I'm ready. Let's go. Before we jump into it, New Orleans Saints fans, please do not forget to subscribe and watch the full length of the video, as that is without a shadow of a doubt the best way to support the growth of this channel so we can keep having the most unbiased, grounded, honest conversations about the Saints. It makes such a huge difference and I would really appreciate it. Tyler Shough and the New Orleans Saints, but specifically Shough, is easily one of, if not the, most overlooked story going into this season. Easily. I just made another video actually ironically about this, not with the Saints, about the Titans. Right? I said it's the easiest prediction in the NFL that Cam Ward's going to improve, cause they literally just asked me in a straight up, they're like, can Cam Ward improve from season 1 to season 2? She's like, yeah, I think so. And it's like, and when you actually unpack it and see what, the differences from season 1 to season 2, it's the easiest thing. It's just the easiest. Cam Ward would have to be the biggest, one of the biggest buzz in NFL history for him to not be able to improve. It's like the lowest of all hanging fruit. On this side of the spectrum, easily like one of, again, if not the most underdiscussed, most overlooked, slapped on, whatever terms you want to use, is Tyler Shough as an individual, let alone the Saints as a whole, but definitely Tyler Shough as an individual. No one's really having the conversations of what can Tyler do in year 2, or, well, hey, it looks like the Saints actually found a good quarterback. Like even him, House of Black Raiders, listen, I'm buying that Shough could be a really good quarterback. No one's even talking about that though then, that the NFL just added a new, really good quarterback. Really good quarterback that is like top 10, top 15, right? Cause the top 10 used to be this coveted little top 10. Now it's I don't know, everyone's kind of flirting in now the top 10 and become who do we define as a really good quarterback? Is that Brock Purdy? Is that Kirk Cousins? Is that Sam Darnold? When we say really good, if that's who Tyler Shough is, well, that combined with Kellen Moore, then the Saints are a completely different franchise in what they've been post Drew Brees. So, it's just that's a massive story. That's a massive conversation. That's a massive point to drive home, and that means the stakes are through the roof right now. You're talking about a full functioning team now that's ready to go. That's ready to compete. You have your coach quarterback of the future, of the present and the future. You're ready to go. We're hemming and hawing about oh, can J.J. McCarthy be a quarterback? I don't know. What about Kyler Murray? I don't know. Shough. And it's what about Tyler Shough then? It's what are we talking about? So, it's kind of crazy to me. It really is. And then what he was able to do last season, just be like, I don't know if the sample size is big enough. It's like, come on, man. Sample size exists. Absolutely. The NFL as a whole, the sample size is inherently small. It's 17 games. You know, like, that's nothing. Basketball, you're playing 82. Football, you're playing a 162, so football is always going to have a smaller sample size. Look at the quality of play. That's why I don't worry about just the bottom line stats. Look at the quality of play. There were some losses at times that I'm watching, I'm like, whoa. Like, this is impressive. I forget now the final game of the season. Was it against the Falcons? I think it was against the Falcons, right? Or is it against the Buck or not the Bucks, the Panthers? I forget. I feel like it was the Falcons, wasn't it? Final game of the season? I don't remember. But the final game of the season even, you know, I am just like dude, Tyler Shough and ball. I'm like, Tyler, I was like, Tyler, this is about to be something. I'm like, I can't believe no one's even really talking about this. And I get it cause it didn't really feel like the Saints were going to be able to like truly find themselves in the playoffs even if they did. I don't think people are going to pick the Saints over the Rams or something, right? Like it just didn't have that type of energy to it. So, I understand why it was, you know, they weren't opening the shows, you know, at 9 a.m. talking about the Saints and Tyler Shough. I get it. I'm not dumb. But doesn't mean that it shouldn't be discussed at all. And yeah. I think there's some action there. I think there's some major potential. And I really stand by this being such a mat like there's plenty of teams that are overlooked and underdiscussed. This has legitimately been non-existent. Think about it when Tyler Shough just got when he was originally drafted. They like kind of laughed at it and said this is ridiculous. And then they just were like, we're not even going to talk about it. You know, it's like it doesn't even actually exist. And it's like that's not even adding in Kellen Moore who again, I think Kellen Moore is actually like a really good coach as well. But he's not tagged as the boy genius. He's not Ben Johnson. I feel like Declan Doyle has more aura of a potential of what he can be as a coordinator, SL. One day coach than Kellen Moore has. Right? I mean, think about Clint Kubiak. I mean, think about this. Seriously, Clint Kubiak goes to Seattle. And with that elite defense, all that good stuff wins a Super Bowl. We already seen Sam Darnold ball out with Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings. So it's not like it was the first time we ever saw that. And then Kellen Moore Kubiak goes to and again, I think Kubiak was great. But Kubiak goes to the Raiders and it's just like the next big thing. Kellen Moore goes to Saints and it's like doesn't matter. It's like not actually a real hire. It's just well, he's an offensive coordinator. We want an offensive coach. So sure, we'll hire him. Right? Like that's literally what the hire was like. Yeah, we want a coach. And we want to I guess a coordinator. And so yeah, we'll just take that guy. He's an offensive coordinator, right? He's been around. He's got some experience. Okay. And then it's like, well, wait a second. He helped construct a record-breaking season. He called the offense that was one of the most dominant offenses in NFL playoff history. Right? Like they scored the most points in a conference championship game. They scored the most points in a conference championship game and Super Bowl combined. They scored the most points per game in playoff history. Right? That offense looked a lot better with Kellen Moore than it did with Kevin Patullo. Aight? Things were a little bit different with Saquon Barkley with Kellen Moore than they were with Kevin Patullo. Right? So it's just like why aren't we bringing any type of energy towards what Kellen Moore can bring? And then combine that with Taysom Hill. So that's why I've been trying to get ahead of this. 'Cause I think there's a lot of energy there. And I think there's a lot of fun in the future with the New Orleans Saints and Taysom Hill. I really, really do. And just like kind of Mike, you know, I constantly say this with a lot of these young quarterbacks, it's like, of course they're going to get better. They are not finished products. Of course they're going to get better. Taysom Hill is going to be better this year than he was last year. And if Taysom Hill was a little bit better and the Saints team as a whole is just a little bit better, they win the division and make the playoffs. So, there's my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the New Orleans Saints, Taysom Hill, and what they'll be able to achieve? Do you think some of the really positive takeaways from Taysom Hill are just too small of a sample size? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing commu. Nighty here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.